Yes, my name is Helen Janacek, and I came to see John about a year ago. I think it was during the summer, so this is 2009, so it was, I think it was about, yeah, 2008. Anyway, to make a long story, this is what happened to me. I moved into a brand new house. I slipped on the tile. I had a concoction. It broke, and in two places. And so anyway, they operated me and everything was just fine. But the problem was on my hip. My hip was the big problem. And of course, many years ago, I had a laminectomy on the left side, about 1980. Anyway, to make a long story short, I went to the doctor, and the doctor sent me to another doctor, and he says, you do have a little arthritis in your back, and he says, I'm going to send you to another doctor. So I went there and got some shots on my back, and then he says, well, let's send you to a physical therapist. And I went to a physical therapist, and she said, it's not your back, it's your hip. That's the big problem, she goes. And anyway, so I went to another doctor, and he gave me a shot there, and he came out and said, he says, you can come back as many times as you want. I think that's maybe 4 times a year. And he says, but after 5 years, you will have to have a hip replacement. And when he told me that, I says, I didn't say anything, but that was the end of that the last time I went. And I got a hold of John, and I couldn't even stand up by the sink there. There's a new house, and I couldn't sit up. I couldn't stand up by the sink. I had to sit down again, and get up, and do a teeny bit, sit down again, and I had to also do my. We had a new stove because it's a new house, and I had to learn all that over again. Standing up, sitting down. It's a good thing my husband was a good cook, or I'll tell you, that was the end of cooking. So anyway, I came to John, and I could hardly get off the table when I went to see him. So he used to have to help me and everything like that. So then he started working on my hip, and he also gave me the MIT, which is the mineral infrared therapy, which is a heat. And so anyway, I started feeling a lot better and better and better. And then I also went into cell therapy. And I said, gee, I feel like $1 million, And you should see the way I'm able to walk now. Before, when I walked, I was slightly hunched. I just couldn't do it. And now, I feel wonderful. I can really walk. Really wonderful. And so now I'm taking herbs from him. I'm taking cell therapy from him, and he also gives me the MIT, which is the mineral infrared therapy, and which they put on my hip and my back and everything, and my shoulder. And I really feel like $1 million. I mean, it was like night and day. I mean, I feel wonderful now, and I'm going to remain that way because I take all the herbs, all the cell therapy, and I come and see John. Now, what more can you ask for except I'm getting better all the time, and that's absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So that's my story, and it's a true story. Yeah. Anyway, I should add this in. I'm also taking now the oxygen therapy. And it's a glutathione, and they put it's a tank over here. You put a mask on, and they put glutathione in it. And glutathione, according to everybody, is that after the age of 20, you lose 1%. So by the time you reach 70, you lost 50%. And it's very good for your mind, for like Alzheimer's and memory, people going to school, get better grades and everything like that. I'm also taking that, and you just sit there for 20 minutes, and they regulate it like it's supposed to be. And my oxygen level now is 98, and he's hoping to get me up to 100. Okay.